after. I forgot we went back. Okay. Sorry, a lot of boozer in me. I don't drink anymore, man.
The issue is that the left Joy-Con continuously gets desynced from the Switch.
Oh,
so
it
if you're
does?
playing Zelda, or if you're playing a Nintendo Switch game, or 1-2 Switch, whoever's holding the left controller, or if you're holding the left controller in Zelda, all of a sudden your controller gets desynced and your controller can't, or your character can't move. That's a serious issue. I mean, that seems like a total flub, which is a caveat.
A total flub? That's a complete flub.
But caveat, like, that's something that can be totally fixed in a day one patch.
Well, like a firmware patch?
Well, it depends. Is it a hardware or firmware? If the hardware is faulty, then they have to come out with another Wii Plus controller like they did with the Wii when the Wii was screwed.
Do you know? Anybody?
No, I don't know. I can't say that for sure. I don't know.
How's it connecting?
With magic. Mixed magic.
Mixed magic. That's how technology's made today.
Magic.
But here's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, what you're talking about is a Nintendo system that might work kind of well, but it's still going to be delivering to you the new Zelda game, which is going to be fantastic. And by all accounts so far is a fantastic game, and it is running better on the Nintendo Switch than it is on the Wii U. And so that's what it comes down to. It comes down to first-party titles. It comes down to these games that you get a Nintendo
Brothers,
Switch.
Mario Kart,
but that's
Super
the only
Mario.
reason. So you're saying that they're basically going to be like, okay, we might send out 2 new games you've never played before, or we're just gonna make some new ones.
Xbox and PlayStation does the same thing.
I understand
they have
that, but
their
I'm saying
quintessential Gears of War, Halo.
For them to directly compete with PlayStation or Xbox One, why aren't they pushing the envelope a lot more? That's all I'm saying.
I don't think they're directly. This is my whole issue.
They're not.
You think that's like people shouldn't compare.
I don't think people should compare the Nintendo Switch to a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. An Xbox One and a PlayStation 4 are leaps and bounds like 100 times more powerful. Titanfall 2 is not going to run on a Nintendo Switch. It's just not going to happen.
And that's okay.
Okay,
that's okay.
And that is fine. All I'm saying is that I wish they would push the envelope more instead of, and it's the marketing. They're saying that they're directly out there competing in the same space that Xbox One and PlayStation live on. So
that's true.
It's the marketing they're using. So if they would position themselves differently as not just the console of the future, as more of on the go. You don't have time to do things? Well, here's your platform to do something on the go when you don't have time to do things.
That's a great point. And also what I'm seeing too is a lot of third-party support is waning for the Nintendo Switch, and I think a lot of people expect like, oh, hey, Call of Duty just came out for these 2 systems. I want to have it on my Nintendo, and like that shouldn't happen, and that expectation shouldn't be there.
I don't want you to. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I love Nintendo. I've had a Nintendo Super Nintendo. I've had a Nintendo 64. I've had Game Boys, have Game Boy Color.
Did you have GameCube? Because that was also good, too.
I did not have GameCube.
GameCube was good.
Because I after 64, I saw PlayStation. I saw the advertisements, the mystery behind PlayStation. What is that?
Yeah.
And I dove in headfirst in PlayStation, left Nintendo for a little bit.
So let me ask this question. What are your guys' favorite Nintendo memories? Like, growing up, playing 64,
Dude,
Super
Mario,
Nintendo,
man.
anything. Like
GoldenEye with the buddies, man. Going to your buddy's house.
Ruin relationships when somebody played Oddjob? Did you lose friends with Oddjob? Because he's the worst character of all time.
We didn't really go down that path, but I bet. So then you and Wyatt, yeah.
Oh, we actually weren't friends when Game Boy came out.
We were not.
Oh, you were not. You were
No,
we were we were enemies. Actually,
I think we were frenemies.
When we became friends, it was all about Xbox. It was
Xbox
all
came out. Literally, Xbox
right?
actually was what became why we became friends was Xbox.
Dude, I used to go to my buddy's house, play 2K, NFL 2K, back in the day, and then play some Halo too.
Ours was always
Split screen.
Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell, and then segued into Halo and Halo 2.
So my greatest Nintendo memory, personally, and this is weird, I've always been a huge Resident Evil fan, and I feel like Nintendo surprisingly kind of swooped in and stole the crown as far as consoles go, because they came out with the Resident Evil 1 remake, the remaster, that was beautiful. If you remember that thing that came out, it was absolutely beautiful, and it made that game that you played when you were in like 3rd grade like 100 times better.
Yeah, I never played that, so I don't know.
Oh, it was great. And then it came out with Resident Evil 4, which was a total game changer for the series.
In my opinion, now I'm not the biggest Resident Evil fan. Resident Evil 4 was the best of them all.
Yeah,
and then Resident Evil 5 was a lot similar to the Resident Evil 4. But Resident Evil 4 was better than 5.
For sure.
So amazing. Yeah. And the graphics were good, and you were scared the whole time. And when you're in the village, and you're in a house, and they're trying to get into there, and they're putting up ladders, and oh my God.
And to
so
me,
awesome.
that was the last time, in my opinion, I think Resident Evil 4... Yeah.
GameCube.
GameCube. Okay. I think GameCube and Resident Evil 4 was the last time Nintendo had held the graphics card. That was the last time that they were like,
I
you know what?
On GameCube too.
Yeah. And then, like, that was the last time GameCube was like, we are the premier system.
Yes, I agree. Totally.
But honestly, when I remember this, Brogan, I remember this clear as day. I came over to your house. You had got Resident Evil 4 before I did. You were playing it, and the graphics were amazing at the time. And equal to Xbox and PlayStation 2.
Surprisingly, was the last
and you
time
were
that
like,
happened.
look,
you were blown away.
And you were like, look, guys, everybody is giving shit to Nintendo's GameCube, and Xbox and PlayStation aren't as good or as better than. And you told me, you were like, I don't understand why people think that Resident Evil 4, it is better than a lot of the Xbox games coming out, and it had the power and the ability to do that. And it was such a great game. I remember you telling me that.
When did Nintendo get out of this game? When did Nintendo get out of the let's compete with Xbox and PlayStation market? It was Wii. Wii was so underpowered, and they just haven't looked back.
I think they held on to the idea of like, okay, nostalgia with Nintendo. You know, we want to bring the family together. We want to have people come and play this together, and people are moving outside of that and going digital. And let's be on servers and playing against mass multiplayers rather than focusing on bringing people together and playing together. So that's what they did. They were like game balling on like, okay, this trend is going to keep happening, and people want to be together. You know, what people don't know is that PC has been around forever, and PC has had the ability to play mass multiplayer.
Yeah.
But no consoles have had that ability until Xbox 360 came out. Until like PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, you have the ability to hop online and play. And Xbox, probably Xbox before that too. And I'm sorry I messed that up, but all I'm saying is that the mass multiplayer really helped out with that.
But that's the one thing you did. I think you did nail it because. Look at the big heavy hitters for PlayStation, Xbox, Call of Duty, Halo.
Yep.
Those are not Nintendo games, but that is what Battlefield. Those are not for 4-year-olds to 12-year-olds. That's for 13-year-olds to 30-year-olds.
But you got to think about like, okay,
and that's who's paying the bills. That's who's getting the money. That's who's
the parents.
That's who is playing the games. No 5-6-year-old is playing those games, and you only have Nintendo to go to, and PlayStation, Xbox have gone away from that, and that's who they're marketing for, and that's who they're getting the money from.
And surprise, surprise, those 30-year-olds that are buying those mature games, we're still buying Mario.
Yes,
like, we want to play Mario.
We are. Totally.
So, I do you remember even going back further than this, when the Nintendo 64 came out, looking at Mario 64 was a revelation. You saw Mario 64 and it blew your mind. Nintendo, I've always looked at as like the catalyst of the industry. Nintendo's always been like, hey, look at Wave Runner 64, like that, or Wave Race 64, Pilot Wings. You're like, this game is beautiful. When GameCube came out, it was like, wow, I didn't know Zelda could look this good. And it's like, all of a sudden now they have bent backwards to become this system that like everyone's grandma can use, and like people, like older people have like Wii bowling tournaments with.
Yeah.
And
well, even at like bars,
Smash 11 Wii bowling.
Wii bowling, I don't know about that, man. But okay, so that might be another loss for you. But so what I would say is that I really want to say that like Sega came out with a system too, didn't they? Not Sega Genesis,
Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Dreamcast. So what I was gonna say is that 64 and Dreamcast probably were the best graphics out at that time.
Absolutely.
Easily, hands down.
I totally agree.
And the best systems out at that time. And I loved playing Dreamcast, but I didn't have one because it was way expensive. It was super expensive.
So I have my wife is in the room, who is a big Nintendo fan, and a big reason that we're getting the Nintendo Switch because it's a system that I could easily sell to her that she was totally cool with getting. So Kendall, do you have like Nintendo memories or a reason that you like Nintendo so much that you would be willing to take a risk on a system like the Switch?
You can take your time. We can edit this part out.
We can edit this part out.
It's okay.
Why do you like Nintendo?
You had 64 at our house. Why did you love that? I mean, what would?
Like
Why?
Mario
Okay,
Kart
why are you
8.
drawn to Switch? Like,
Why do you
wanna
want
play?
Switch?
Morgan ordered it on his own.
Well, okay.
Oh shit! The real thing comes out.
This
Is true?
Kendall, why do you like Nintendo 64? Was that the first?
Why do you like-
Nintendo?
Yeah, what do you like?
I like the style. I'm gonna sound stupid.
No, you don't.
Why do you
You're
get so
fine.
nervous?
Just what's your best memory of Nintendo games?
Oh, I never even played Nintendo
All
until
right.
I was older because I wasn't allowed to have video games.
Why?
My parents wanted me to play outside, like most children should.
Boo.
Most
Are you just
My parents are
shit
the
on
same
our
way.
entire podcast with that? Like, like play outside.
So I like that they are simple games that I can play where I only have to worry about pressing 2 to 3 buttons at a time. Versus Halo, I have to use 2 different controllers to look up and walk forward at the same time.
You know, Kendall, I remember
To
the
look
one time
up.
I came downstairs. When we were all roommates, the 3 of us were roommates, and I came downstairs and you were playing 64. I thought you had played 64 forever, and you had Banjo-Kazooie. Brogan was in his room hungover, and I came downstairs. You were playing Banjo-Kazooie, and we were playing that together. That was, I mean, come on, that feeling.
I love that game.
Exactly, and
It's a
that's
great-
what
that's
you
a
get.
wonderful
This is
game.
when
Would you
Wyatt
agree?
knew.
That's
I
what-
can't wait for Ukulele to come out.
This is
There
when
you
Wyatt
go.
knew.
Oh,
There you
dropping
go.
ukulele.
Don't even know what that is.
This is
What
when
is it?
Wyatt,
What is it,
Wyatt
Kendall?
knew.
So the people that created Banjo-Kazooie, whatever company that they worked for, I don't know,
Rare.
Okay.
they left and formed their own company,
Don't know it.
and they are forming a new game. So Banjo and Kazooie
Okay,
was the
those
name
people.
of the 2 characters. The new game is pretty much exactly the same, but modern. It's Yuka and Lele.
Ukulele.
So is it still a bird and a bear?
It's an iguana and something else. I don't know what
Like
the
a
other
rabbit
thing
or
is.
something.
It's like a rabbit.
Okay.
A rabbit iguana. Terrifying.
Well, you should look at the trailer. It looks awesome.
It sounds
I'll
insane.
take your word for it. I just remember coming downstairs, seeing you playing Banjo-Kazooie, and I was like, Brogan's going to marry
Can
this
Why do
guy.
you keep saying
Yeah, thank
Banjo
you. That's what I was trying to
Kazooie?
get at.
Like,
Kazooie!
it's like some type of really Japanese version of that.
No, but what I was gonna say is that's when Wyatt knew that Brogan had to lock this girl
Yeah, he
down.
locked this girl down. I was like, he's going to marry this girl.
Man, need to lock that girl down.
So, okay. What we can agree on is that it seems like Nintendo has gotten off its path. It's gotten off of its... Like,
Did it get off its path, or did it continue the same
It's
path and never
continuing
change?
traditionally what it's always been, and it
What
needs
do you
to.
think, Brogan?
So I think, okay, here's my honest opinion of Nintendo's
And you
trajectory.
bought a Switch. Can we just say that you bought a Switch? So this is your honest.
Well, yeah, because I trust Nintendo. I've always felt like Nintendo knows what they're doing.
And I just want everybody to know, I did not buy a Switch, but I have a notification to let me know when one's ready, so I will have one as well. So
And
Brogan's not and the only one in the boat.
And if Wyatt does actually purchase the Switch, I will purchase one as well.
Okay, so
And so we will have.
so
Switches.
that pretty much means they're going to come over and watch me play the Switch and see if they want it. But
Greed.
agreed on that entirely. Yeah.
but okay, here's my thing. It's like Nintendo at some point, like as a kid, I always remember Nintendo being the company that pushed the graphics envelope, the company that always made home consoles a little bit better. And so I
Okay.
think somewhere around the Wii, they got off of ensuring that they were making the next graphical leap. They said, we don't care about the next graphical leap. We don't care about HD. We're going to stick with 480p, and we're going to make sure that we deliver a new gaming experience to people. Now, that resonated with a lot of people because
Yeah.
they were like, okay, hey, I can show Wii bowling to my parents,
But
and
that's
they're going to
like-
be in on it.
but that's like saying, like-
yeah, but I think like, you know, my parents are going to be in on Wii bowling and they're going to enjoy it and they're going to love it. But then it's like saying you're taking this system, this amazing brand that is Nintendo, and you're making it monopoly. You're making this amazing brand a version of like a home board game. You're
Yeah.
saying that everyone can join, a grandma can play Wii Bowling, and then it's like, well, hold on, you might have forgotten about.
Do I want to play with
You might have
grandma?
forgotten about like 11-year-old me. I think somewhere along the line you forgot about like the kid that couldn't wait to plug in his Nintendo 64 controller and play Wave Race 64.